If I can look back and like stare 18-year-old Brian Peterson in the face. So, hey, 18-year-old Brian Peterson, you're gonna have a nonprofit and you're gonna be hanging out with the homeless, and you're gonna be a car designer that gets to travel the world. I'm not sure I would have believed it. We work on future interior designs for Kia products, instrument panel, door designs, seat designs, steering wheel designs. And so how crazy is that one day you're sitting sketching on your desk, a couple years later this car's on the road and it's giving people experiences that they'll take forever. And so when you think of it in that context, it's pretty amazing. I knew going in high school that it was like between an artist and designer. So I wanted to find a school that met both of those needs. And at CIA, you study fine art your first year here. I was like, wow, I can develop my painting and my design skills at the same time. I remember all kind of people like, you don't want to be a starving artist. And so I made this decision. I was like, I'm going to use my ability to create art and put it towards a career path. And I knew that was industrial design. It fascinated me. I see today that that term starving artist is just a lie. I remember when I was a first-year student at CIA, and I walked into the industrial design department and saw some designers that were seniors sketching cars. And I was blown away by their ability to sketch a car. And the first thing they started doing was teaching me how. That idea of like each one teach one, everybody has something to give to one another, is kind of what my whole life is based on right now. Faces of Santa Ana started because I was reading this book about love, and I hear these screams coming from one of my neighbors experiencing homelessness in Santa Ana, California, where I live. And I'd heard his screams before, but this day I'm reading about loving my neighbor, and his screams connected to my heart. And so 2 days later, I was on my way home from work on my bicycle, and I made a decision to look for him and stop and talk to him. And so after our first conversation with this man who I now know his name is Matt, I asked him to paint his portrait. For whatever reason, something bubbled up from within inside my gut, and that was the start to Faces of Santa Ana. I look at it today as Matt was actually screaming because my attention needed to shift. So his screams helped me see life differently, and I tell him that all the time. And so what does it look like to reveal a painting to someone and say, this is who you are? Like, it's time to hope again because you look as lively, you're as bright as this painting. Once we sell the paintings and we use the money to help them with their needs, what I've discovered is that's actually just building trust. Now we have trust, hope, and relationship. And within that, we've created an atmosphere of like healthy things to grow. So often we have to introduce ourselves and tell people what we do, which is usually what we're good at. And I think in some ways a title can limit you from your full potential. And so I introduced myself on this video as I am a designer for Kia, but I'm also a painter. I'm also working on a book. I also have an idea for a little short film. And so today I really strive to, in my own mind and in my own heart, remove all titles. Like, what does it look like to just be like a kid in the sandbox again, and everything's possible? And so today I stand before you as I'm just a creative.